Chapter 706. Trump was shaking in fright. He urged Humphrey as he saw him standing frozen and hesitant. "Humphrey, go. If they really attack you, I don't know how and what to say to your family." Andrew shouted coldly, "If you don't want to go, just stay." Humphrey gritted his teeth in agony. After a short hesitant, he turned around and ran out of the suite. Trump was completely in despair right now, but he was fortunate that Don Stephen was here with him, so he prayed that Don Stephen could handle the tricky situation. Little did he know that Don Stephen was powerless at this moment. If his men were around, they would have barged into the room when these people made such a loud commotion in the Diamond Suite. Since no one had come over, it proved that they had been seriously and fatally injured as stated by these people. Mr. Joey glared at Don Stephen in resentment and growled, "Don Stephen Robert, today is your day to die." Then, he turned and said respectfully to Andrew, "Mr. Andrew, please." Andrew nodded, took a step forward, and said, "Don Stephen Robert, prepare to die." Don Stephen had been quite skillful in martial arts when he was young, so he didn't back down and surrender. Instead, he propped himself up in a stance and said coldly, "If you want me dead, let's see if you're up to the challenge." Andrew grinned like the evil antagonist in a movie and muttered, "You're nothing but an worthless ant in my eyes." Then, he strode directly towards Don Stephen. Looking solemn and serious, Don Stephen knew that he couldn't give in right now, so he hurled a punch towards Andrew. Andrew sneered and grabbed his fist to meet Don Stephen's punch. But when the two fists collided, Don Stephen felt as if his body had been hit by a boulder. With a loud puff, he felt an extremely strong force hitting his body. He couldn't resist it and immediately flew out and collapsed to the floor. Don Stephen's expression changed suddenly as he lay on the ground. He was in disbelief. This man was really abnormal. His power overwhelmed him on multiple levels. Ethan blinked and watched the scene in excitement, his heart thumping vigorously. Mr. Joey was even more thrilled. The one who had fallen to the ground was the king of Oris Hill's underworld. But after tonight, he would replace him. And he would become a dead corpse. Mr. Joey sneered as his imagination ran wild and shouted, "Don Stephen, aren't you very arrogant and awesome? Now you know that there will always be someone better than you, huh?" Then, he walked up to Don Stephen and sneered, "Before you die, I'll let you know how humiliation feels like." He hurriedly demanded, "Mr. Andrew, please hold him up. I want to carve the words pathetic jerk on his forehead to avenge my son." Andrew replied coldly, "I'm here to kill him, not to take your demands. If you want to do it so badly, wait until I kill him. Then he won't be able to feel the pain of humiliation before he dies." Andrew glared at him in dismay. "The Richard guy over there, you can do whatever you want to him, but I have to kill Don Stephen Robert first." Without hesitation, Andrew grabbed Don Stephen's neck with one hand, and lifted him up against the wall, his legs hanging in the air. Andrew increased his strength just a little bit and Don Stephen suddenly felt a sharp pain in his neck and was completely out of breath. It felt more painful and awful than hanging himself, and it was as if his Adam's apple would be crushed in no time. Don Stephen was gasping, his face turning black and purple. In his heart, he realized that he would die today.